Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup, the show where we round up all of the latest news in the world of nerdy movies. We have a couple of stories to get through today. I am filibustering because I did forget to get all the assets ready. Not really assets. Really all the assets I have for the show is just pulling up articles and whatever. So we're doing it on the fly because, listen, we've already started. It is what it is. And look at that. Let's get on to the first one. All right, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I just want to touch on the box office real quick. It's not good. So it's made 121 domestic. Internationally, it's made 126 million, and worldwide, it has made 247. Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. This is a box office disaster for Disney, because apparently the budget is like $300 million. I think it's upwards of $300 million, and there's just no getting around it. This is absolutely disastrous. So, I think that we're finally, I think it's a couple of things going on here. I think, first of all, something that not a ton of people are bringing up is that this summer has been pretty packed. I mean, it feels like we went through a stretch of I think Across the Spider-Verse came out, and that did really well. Well, actually, no, I think Guardians kicked off the summer, if I remember correctly. Guardians came out, did very well. And then I think at some point Across the Spider-Verse came out, and that did pretty well. But then, and then we got Transformers. Then we got Fast and the Furious somewhere in there. Within there, we got The Little Mermaid was also in there. We got The Flash, Elemental, and now Dial of Destiny. Within a pretty short period of time, I want to say. We've gotten all of these movies, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple of big movies that have also come out, but we're in a recession right now. A lot of us can't afford to watch all of these movies, especially families, right? So I think that you can't ignore that aspect of it when it comes to why a lot of movies this summer, including Dial of Destiny, have been bombing. But I think you also have to look at what I think is probably a bigger reason, and it's that people are tired of mediocre movies. I mean, when you look at a lot of Lucasfilm movies, right, Star Wars, whether it be in theaters or shows that have come out on Disney Plus, they've been giving us a lot of mediocrity, and maybe general audiences aren't too in tune to associate that with Indiana Jones. But even if they're not, if you just look at the state of Hollywood right now, right? We just got The Flash. We just got again, like I mentioned, Fast X, Fast and the Furious. Audiences aren't necessarily eating right now. We're not getting good effing food, as Gordon Ramsay would say. And I think a lot of that is probably to blame for Indiana Jones not doing very well at the box office. And the fact that it hasn't had legs is because, as far as I can tell, I actually didn't watch it because the only Indiana Jones movie I've ever seen is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay, so I was going to watch the first three movies and then go into Dial of Destiny, but I just never got around to it, and so we're past it at this point. So I'm probably not even going to do that. So that there is that as well. But from what I've been hearing from people, it's not like that. It's I don't think it's terrible by any means, but it's nothing that's exciting audiences, obviously, right? It's not getting huge word of mouth, and it really does feel like we're at a point in the box office where even if your movie is great, it's not necessarily gonna do great in the opening weekend, right? We saw Guardians 3 that came out, didn't have a massive opening weekend. We saw, the main exception, Guardians 3 didn't have a massive opening weekend, but it had really good word of mouth, and so it made $800 something million. Across the Spider-Verse, that has been like the massive success of the summer, right? Compared to the first movie and compared to its budget especially, it is a smash hit, fantastic opening weekend, fantastic legs. And yeah, so I don't know, that was a bit of a rant there, but I really do think that audiences right now are not going to accept mediocrity. That's why Blue Beetle is oof. That movie's probably gonna bomb. I could see Blue Beetle doing worse than Shazam. If it's great, I think it could pick up. Maybe it makes $300 million, but man, Blue Beetle is gonna be a rough one for for Blue Beetle. I think that the Marvels. I do not know about that one either. I mean, Captain Marvel did make $1 billion, but just where we're at right now with Marvel and comic book movies as a whole and movies as a whole. And that trailer, I actually really like the trailer, but I don't know that a ton of people like loved it like I did. I love Kamala Khan, but I don't know how many people out there are. I don't know. I mean, barely anybody watched Captain or Miss Marvel, so I don't know. I don't know about the Marvels, but we'll see. We'll see. Aquaman's a weird one because I thought the first Aquaman was not very good, but that movie managed to make $1 billion. So who am I? What do I know? So I don't know. We're gonna examine the box office, and and upcoming up we have. I'm gonna be really interested to see how Mission Impossible does. That's coming up next week, I believe. And then we also have Oppenheimer and Barbie. Or I think either Mission Impossible I think Mission Impossible comes out next week, and then the following week is Barbenheimer. And if those three movies do well, because I'm just assuming that all three of them are going to be great, I think that will be the final statement, right? Of audiences going, we want quality. We are done with mediocrity. We want great movies. And it's not that I don't want it's not that I want anybody to fail, but like at the end of the day, that's the only way that we can communicate to studios, okay? Studios, they don't care. They don't care how much you tweet at them. They don't care about your YouTube reviews. The only thing they care about is, did you come and buy a ticket? That is the only way that you can communicate with them. So it's not that I want anybody to fail. It's not that but at the end of the day, it's good that The Flash bombed. It is good that Fast X bombed. It's good that Dial of Destiny bombed. If it is mediocre, I don't know. I don't watch it. It's good for these movies to bomb because it's forcing studios to look at the ones that succeed and be like, oh shit, now we actually do have to make good movies. Dune's also coming out. We're gonna have to wait and see how that does. But yeah, we shall see, won't we? All right, let's move on to the first proper news story of the day. Apparently, Robert Downey Jr. was on the set of Captain America 4. We'll start reading here. As posted on LinkedIn by Noir Shora, a security guard at the Captain America film's set revealed that Downey Jr. had visited them. He also reported seeing a variety of supercars being driven around. They're filming Captain America 4 around the White House and near my office. I was on a quick errand walk as I noticed all the lights and equipment and finally asked one of the security folks about it. Jeez. I don't know, I'm dying. My apologies. He was so talkative and nice, said, spoiler, Robert Downey Jr. was spoiler. I don't know what that means. Robert Downey. I think they're trying to keep the guy's name anonymous. I don't know. So Robert Downey Jr. was there last night, and they were driving all sorts of supercars. The fourth installment of the Captain America saga, Captain America: Brave New World, is currently being filmed in Washington D.C. and will feature Anthony Mackie as he continues to take on the Captain America mantle. So it's kind of a weird story, but like I guess there's a security guard that's talked to another security guard, and that security guard said that Robert Downey Jr. was on set. So a bunch of people are kind of wondering, is Tony Stark going to be Captain America 4? What? And honestly, I don't know that at the very least, I'm not gonna put too much stock in this story because it is like this person told me that they saw something, and it's like a bit too many layers of separation for me to be like, for me to be like super confident about this. And then but then let's say that Tony Stark, or that that Robert Downey Jr. was on set. Even then, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be playing Tony Stark in the movie. He could just be visiting the set because, hey, I am in the Marvel family, and let me visit my family. Like that is totally possible. And some other people have been saying that, like, since Robert Downey Jr. has this like show on HBO Max where he's like about his like supercar collection or whatever, that maybe he was filming something for that, and they were like, hey, look, we're here on the set of Captain America 4, look at us here, we look at my supercars. So I've heard some people suggest that, but there are just so many other possibilities of what this could be. And then it's also just like kind of a weird story where it's like, this person told me that they saw this. It's like, I don't know that he even was on set, and even if he is on set, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's playing Tony Stark. And then the other thing is that why would Tony Stark even be in Captain America 4? Like, it's not like he was super close with Sam Wilson, right? It's like he was close with Steve Rogers, not Sam Wilson. So it's like, why would he even be in Captain America 4? But I don't know. Listen, it's totally possible that he's in it. And it would obviously be cool if he's in it. Well, depending on what kind of cameo it is, because it's like, if it's a flashback, then that would be cool. But if they brought back Tony Stark, I personally think I think they are probably going to bring him back at some point. But it's probably going to be kind of lame, because for somehow they decide to revive him or something, or like go back in time and save him from dying or something like that. That would be lame, obviously. But I guess it could be a multiverse thing. I don't know. My mind is going too many places, but let me know what you think about. Do you think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Captain America 4? I have no idea. All right. Next story. The Fantastic Four rumor mill continues. Let's start reading here. According to reliable insider Daniel Richtman, Kirby, this is Vanessa Kirby, who can be seen in the upcoming Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, has been officially offered the role of Invisible Woman. No deal has been finalized yet, but the gig is reportedly hers for the taking. Kirby is best known for playing a young Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon, in the Netflix drama series The Crown, and Hattie Shaw in the 2019 Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. So there, I'm kind of I'm not gonna like get too invested in Fantastic Forecasting. That's kind of where I'm at right now, because there are just so many rumors flying around. None of these are being reported on by the major trades. They're coming by these like scooper guys on like social media, and it's like, I'm not saying that they're wrong or that they're not reputable, but it was gonna be Margot Robbie and Adam Driver. Now they're out. Vanessa Kirby's in. I don't know. I don't even care that much about Fantastic Four, but listen, if it does end up being Vanessa Kirby, that'll be cool. She's a good actress. That's really all anybody should care about, really, at the end of the day. But I will say, some of the rumors have been about the idea that Margot Robbie and Adam Driver were asking for too much money. And I will say this, Marvel, remember, and I guess they know this because they didn't agree to pay them all whatever amount of money they were asking for. The MCU did not start with huge name actors, right? Robert Downey Jr., when he was Iron Man, he wasn't a huge name actor. Chris Evans wasn't a huge name actor. Chris Hemsworth wasn't a huge name actor. Mark Ruffalo, not a huge name actor. So, or I guess technically, who played Hulk in The Incredible Hulk? I don't remember. But either way, like, none of these actors were huge name actors, right? So you don't need to go for big names. Not that big names are even box office draws and at this stage in Hollywood, right? So I do think that they should keep that in mind, where it's like, you don't need to overinflate a Fantastic Four budget, which is a movie that's probably not, at least taking into account where the MCU is at right now, who knows where it'll be by the time Fantastic Four comes out. You don't need to overinflate your budget by casting Margot Robbie and Adam Driver. But yeah, there's that. I guess I did want to throw that out. But yeah, if it ends up being Vanessa Kirby, I think she's fine. All right, next story. Barbie's Greta Gerwig to direct 2 Narnia films for Netflix. Let's start reading here. According to The New Yorker, Gerwig has a deal with Netflix to write and direct at least 2 films based on C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia. She was previously rumored to have signed on to the forthcoming reboot in late 2022. Gerwig is an acclaimed actor, writer, and director who is perhaps best known for her Oscar-nominated films Lady Bird and Little Women. Her latest project is a feature adaptation of Mattel's Barbie fashion dolls starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling in the lead roles of Barbie and Ken, respectively. So this is interesting. Greta Gerwig, she's very much on the rise as of late. You know, she directed Oscar-winning movies. The Barbie movie is currently tracking to earn $60 to $80 million in its opening weekend, which is pretty wild, to be honest. So yeah, I think this could be cool. You know, I'm not a huge Narnia stan, but I like the first movie. I don't really remember the 3. Did they ever make a 4th Narnia movie? I have no idea. You know, I didn't really follow it too strongly, but she's a really good filmmaker, so sure, why not? Maybe she will make the next Lord of the Rings. Probably not, but but one can hope, I guess. All right. Next up, DC. They are not going to Comic-Con. We'll read here. James Gunn, co-chief executive of DC Studios, responded to a fan's question on Instagram Saturday that he would not be at Comic-Con this year, but probably in 2024. Additionally, DC has released its initial schedule for the convention, which leaves off a big Hall H appearance. So, yeah, as of right now, or I guess not as of right now, this is confirmed. Marvel not going to be at Comic-Con, nor is DC. That's in my opinion a bit of a missed opportunity for DC. I think where DC is at right now, I think they really could have used a Comic-Con showing, like, have a Hall H panel. Like, your movies need promotion, right? Blue Beetle could have really used a big pop at Comic-Con. Bring him out, bring Jolo Maridueña, whatever his name is, bring him out on stage. Have a really great trailer to show off for his movie, right? James Gunn has come out and said that Blue Beetle is going to be the first DCU character. Like, his character is supposedly going to continue in the DCU. This is technically the first movie in the DCU, even though James Gunn was very confusing, because he said that this was the first character in the DCU, but that Superman Legacy was going to be the first DCU movie. So is he saying that this movie isn't canon, but the character is? All of that is very confusing. But either way, if you're planning on using the Jolo Maridueña Blue Beetle in future DCU properties, you should probably promote his movie more. But then yeah, and then obviously bringing out David Corenswet and the Lois Lane actress, don't remember her name, but bringing them out would have been a big pop as well. Although they say they're not in the process of casting the new Batman yet, but that could have been cool as well. But I don't know. It doesn't even have to just be DCU stuff. Hey, what's that Penguin show looking like? You know, put out a new trailer for that. I don't even know when that's supposed to come out. But yeah, with Marvel not being there, this would have been a really great opportunity for DC to really like have a big presence. But I understand that my guess is that they're probably not showing up because of the looming actors strike that may or may not end up happening. They're probably just hedging their bets, because if you have a Hall H presence and you don't and you're not able to use your actors because they are on strike, that would just end up being a really unfortunate situation. So I get it, but at the end of the day, it's probably a missed opportunity. All right, let's move on to the next story. So apparently, Channing Tatum might show up in Deadpool 3 as Gambit. I'll start reading here. According to a new report involving Deadpool 3, we might actually finally get to see Channing Tatum as Gambit. Insider My Time to Shine recently shared on social media that Tatum has actually already filmed a cameo scene for the film. So, My Time to Shine is another one of these like social media scoopers that I'm like, honestly, I haven't paid too much attention to his track record, but apparently he's reporting that Channing Tatum is going to show up as Gambit. Honestly, this doesn't really excite me. As I've said before, like, I don't get too invested in castings. So, like, I understand that for a lot of fans, people have, like, really wanted to see Channing Tatum as Gambit because it's something that's been, talked about happening for a really long time. But it's the same reason why, like, I didn't get excited seeing the Nicolas Cage Superman in The Flash. It's like, you never were Superman. You showing up for a few seconds doesn't matter to me, right? Like, Channing Tatum has never been Gambit, right? Him showing up for a few seconds as Gambit wouldn't matter to me. Now, if he actually shows up and is a major character, then that could be cool. But if he just shows up for a few seconds and they expect us to be like, oh my gosh, it's Channing Tatum as Gambit, I'm not going to do that. But I don't know. This is a Deadpool movie, so if it's for a joke and if the joke is funny, then that could be cool. But hopefully it's just more than what The Flash very cynically tried to do with their cameos. But let's move on to the next story. Apparently Doctor Strange is going to show up in 2024. So this is a quote by Cumberbatch in an interview. He said, "There are some Marvel capers in the making next year," Cumberbatch said while being a guest in the JW3 speaker series. So and the article says it's not clear if Cumberbatch is referring to a standalone Doctor Strange sequel or if he's making an appearance in another film of the MCU like Avengers the Kang Dynasty, which was recently delayed. So what I figured what we should do here is we'll just take a look at all of the Marvel movies that are coming out next year, and we'll see what it's most likely. Because honestly, to me, I'm not sure. So in 2024, we at least as of right now, this is what's slated. On July 26, 2024, or sorry, May 3rd. We'll talk about this first. On May 3rd of 2024, we are going to get Deadpool 3. On July 6th, or July 26th of 2024, we're going to get Captain America Brave New World. And on December 20th of 2024, we are going to get Thunderbolts. So, I don't know. I truly do not know. I guess Deadpool 3 would make the most sense, to be honest. Yeah, no, to be honest, Deadpool 3 would make the most sense because Deadpool 3 is a multiverse movie. There's going to be a lot of wacky shenanigans going on. I could actually pretty easily see Doctor Strange showing up in that. I don't think it makes sense to have Doctor Strange and Captain America Brave New World. They've talked about how that movie's going to be a lot more grounded than a lot of recent Marvel movies. So, yeah, my guess is that Doctor Strange is probably most certainly not showing up in that. I don't know that it necessarily makes sense for him to be in Thunderbolts either, just because that is apparently going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be grounded necessarily, but seems, I don't know that Doctor Strange fits in with those characters. So my guess is that it's probably going to be Deadpool 3. Now, technically, he didn't say movies, so if Marvel really wants to pull out some shekels, try to get him into a show, I guess we'll also look at whatever shows are coming out in 2024. Now, this is all coming out. Now, this is all from Wikipedia, but apparently What If Season 2 doesn't have a release date. But I would imagine that there's going to be I would imagine that Season 2 is going to come out in 2024, right? Could that really bleed over to 2025? I don't know. But honestly, if it is What If Season 2, if What If Season 2 is coming out, Benedict Cumberbatch has already been game to voice act for himself, so it could be What If Season 2, but then you have shows like Ironheart. I don't see why Doctor Strange would be in that. Maybe Agatha Coven of Chaos. I mean, that is a possibility, right? If there's a show that he would be in, Agatha Coven of Chaos very much fits. Daredevil Born Again apparently is coming out 2024. Although filming has been delayed due to the writer strike, so we'll see if that gets delayed. Because it hasn't finished filming. But I don't see why I don't see Daredevil or Doctor Strange showing up in that. And then just a couple of nebulous release dates that I have no idea how like set these dates are. It says here on Wikipedia that Spider-Man Freshman Year is coming out in 2024. Actually, I remember there being artwork where I think Doctor Strange is actually going to be in this. Now that I think about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch probably would do the voice for this, so he could also be talking about Spider-Man Freshman Year. Marvel Zombies. Honestly, I think was Doctor Strange a zombie in the What If Zombies episode? I don't remember, but maybe this. Wonder Man. I'd be surprised if Wonder Man doesn't come out in 2024. I don't really know anything about Wonder Man. I don't know if Doctor Strange would fit in that, to be honest with you. And then it says that Vision Quest has sort of a window of 2024 to 2025. I don't know about that one. I just have no idea what that's going to end up being like. If I don't know if Scarlet Witch is going to be in that or not. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more likely that he would end up being in a movie because Benedict Cumberbatch is at this point probably mainly a movie actor. It'll probably take a lot of shekels to convince him to do a show at this point. That isn't voice acting, right? Because obviously, voice acting you can do that like in an afternoon probably. So yeah, I think he's most likely referring to Deadpool 3. I think there's going to be a lot of multiverse shenanigans in that, and it makes a lot of sense as to why Doctor Strange would be in that. All right, so next up, we have some more speculation to do, reading between the lines of what's said. So, Shang-Chi 2, we got a disappointing update. We'll start reading here. Setting up an Ask Me Anything session on Threads yesterday, that was on July 6th. Liu was quizzed, this is Simu Liu, was quizzed by a fan on the status of the sequel, replying, was told it would follow Avengers the Kang Dynasty, but that keeps pushing back due to circumstances beyond my control. And then sad face emoji or whatever. Hope to have more concrete news to share soon. So, dang. So, apparently, Shang-Chi 2 is supposed to be coming out after the Kang Dynasty, which was, I think, going to come out in was that? I don't remember when that was going to come out, but it was delayed, right? So yeah, I guess, it says down here, at the time of writing, the Kang Dynasty arrives in cinemas on May 1st, 2026. So, as of right now, it seems like Shang-Chi, we're going to have to wait until potentially 2026, maybe even 2027. That is a long time to wait. And I was like, are they really going to do that? Surely they're just going to go ahead and say, you know what? Let's, because my guess as to why that might end up being the case would be because Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of the first Shang-Chi, is also directing the Kang Dynasty. So maybe in order so that he has time to do both, maybe they're gonna want him to want to wait to do Shang-Chi until after they do the Kang Dynasty. or maybe just because of story reasons of what they want to use Shang-Chi for. Maybe that's why they're waiting until after Avengers. But either way, man, I think you got to bite the bullet and just do the sequel earlier. Get another director, get another story, because that's going to be like a 5, potentially 6 year wait. Now, technically, they did have a similar wait for Doctor Strange, and that worked out fine because I guess Doctor Strange, he was in Avengers movies, he was in other movies as well before we got Multiverse of Madness, and so I guess maybe they have a similar strategy with Shang-Chi where he's going to be in a bunch of other people's movies, and he's obviously going to be in Avengers, so maybe by the time they do the sequel, his character will be built up a little bit more, and maybe that's why they're also wanting to wait, so that because he I think Shang-Chi, I think it did like 450 to 500 million dollars at the box office, so not a failure, right? Probably pretty decent for a new character, but they probably want to build him up a bit more maybe before doing another movie. But I don't know, man. I feel like they should just abandon this plan and do one sooner than that. But what do I know? I am but a humble YouTuber who knows nothing. So there was that. All right. Moving on to the final story of the day. Jennifer Garner is apparently returning as Elektra for Deadpool 3. I'll start reading here. After a nearly 20-year hiatus, the actress is returning to the role of Marvel Comics' assassin anti-heroine for Deadpool 3, multiple sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. So, if you don't remember, Jennifer Garner played Elektra in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, which, in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, as well as the Elektra spin-off movie, which is terrible. Even and I know this because as a kid, when it came to superhero movies, I would watch anything, right? Like I watched Batman and Robin and loved Batman and Robin. Multiple times I watched that movie. I couldn't get through Elektra as a child. Now, I don't know that I necessarily hated it necessarily, but I remember I think I started watching it and then I had to stop watching it for some reason, but I never had the desire to go back. So that's how you know that movie's bad, is because I didn't finish watching it. To be fair, I haven't gone back to watch it as an adult, so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it today and I'll be like, this is a misunderstood classic. I don't know. Probably not, though. So I don't know. This doesn't bring any excitement for me. I don't care. I'm not going to cheer in a movie theater because Jennifer Garner's Elektra shows up on screen. But I mean, it's being confirmed by the major trades. Interesting that Ben Affleck as Daredevil hasn't been reported by the major trades, because that is something that's been rumored a lot. So I feel like Jennifer Garner coming back as Elektra does, to be honest with you, make me think that we are going to get Ben Affleck's Daredevil in this as well. Which, the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie is weird because I remember I did like that movie quite a bit as a kid. I don't know if it holds up though. I really have to go back and watch that. But I don't know. I'm guessing that that probably means that Ben Affleck's Daredevil is going to be in this as well. So yeah, I don't know. None of this excites me. I really am getting multiverse fatigue. So the fact that Deadpool 3 is turning into a big multiverse shenanigans, it's like maybe it'll be as good as Across the Spider-Verse and Everything Everywhere All at Once. But that's really what I need from multiverse movies now. I need you to be great. Or at least in Deadpool's case, I need you to be really funny. And I don't know if that's going to do it for me, because not only do I have multiverse fatigue, I have Ryan Reynolds fatigue. I'm kind of sick of Ryan Reynolds. I'm sick of his humor. Which, to be fair, Ryan Reynolds very much just is Deadpool. So I guess I'm also sick of Deadpool. Like I'm kind of sick of Ryan Reynolds' whole shtick of being like, hey, I'm like upbeat in tense situations, and I'm gonna remain upbeat, and I'm gonna make fun of The Rock or something like in that Red Notice movie, and I'm just gonna remain upbeat or whatever in these tense situations. Haha. I'm funny and charming. You're not, Ryan. I mean, most people think you are, but I don't think you are, and that's the only opinion that matters. I don't know. Am I making sense? Is my complaint of Ryan Reynolds making sense? I don't know. I'm tired. And that was the last story of the day. I have fatigue by Hollywood and their lack of creativity because they're bringing back Jennifer Garner's Elektra. But maybe you're excited about that. And if you are, I'm happy for you that you're getting what you want. But let me know what you thought about that and any of the stories that we talked about today. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.